Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to episode number 21 of According to Andrew, where I will be going over some random thoughts on some media that I came across today, and I thought was kind of interesting. I didn't really have a great plan for today, but I needed to get you guys a video because I've been super inconsistent. Like last week, I missed a video and I had to do a makeup video, and then like this week, I missed Wednesday and made it up on Thursday. It's been a nightmare, so I'm gonna try. I'm trying to be more consistent. I don't know why I've been off these couple of weeks. Because I really have no excuse for it. So we're focusing back in. And so our two things we're going to focus on is I was just watching the Feels Good Inc. Music video because I came across a metal version and I was like, I wasn't feeling as much as the original. So then I went and watched the original, and then there's like a bunch of symbolism that I caught in there, which I thought was kind of interesting. So we're going to go through that. I'm not going to play the music, but I will show you the video and kind of discuss some of this stuff. You guys can go play the music yourself, or you're probably familiar with it. It's a super popular song by the Gorillaz. Um, and then we're gonna go into how Snape went from being a Gamma into a Delta, or debatably a Bravo, in Harry Potter. Because I don't know, am I a Harry Potter kick? I know that's supposed to be like seen as a bad thing or something, but you know what? They're enjoyable. Is there some weird stuff in there? Yeah, maybe. But uh, it's something I grew up with. It was fun. Um, and so, yeah, I'm going to dive into that. Anyway, so let's do the Feels Good Ink stuff first because that I was just watching. So I'm going to mute this, make this full screen, and share my display with you guys. All right. So, uh, so we got this thing. It's going, and okay. So you got all the dregs and stuff down here right now. The song hasn't started yet. Um, and it's one other thing I find kind of interesting is how uh, listening to a song and then watching the music video can really sometimes enhance the overall song or give you a better perspective because it's another form of um, communication besides just like the lyrics and the music, and so it can give you another layer to what the artist was trying to communicate and stuff like that. And that can have bad side effects where they're doing like subversive, subliminal type stuff. But anyway, we're not going to get that today. Uh, so here you hear helicopters, you hear like sirens and stuff like that. Um, and so this is where like the masses and all the main people live, and the song hasn't started yet, and then you see this giant tower and it goes up, and here we are at Feel Good Inc. And so you got like this big ivory tower that's like overstretching everybody, and that's like the classic elites in their ivory tower kind of thing. It's obviously not an ivory tower, but it's a kind of a good example because they think they're in an ivory tower, and then it's just like this gray concrete mass, and sure, you're like physically standing above everybody, but it's like, you know, um, what are you ruling over? There's on a tangential side note, there's this really good story uh, that I had to read in like middle school, and we're gonna go full tangent here. Um, so in middle school, I had to read this story, and it was about a conflict between a lion and a tiger, and basically it was everyone was saying like the lion is the king of the jungle, and the tiger was like everyone kind of just accepted that, and the tiger was kind of like, well, uh, why can't I be the king of the jungle, right? Like I'm a tiger, I'm just as strong or as powerful as the lion. Like what gives him the right to be the king of the jungle? Uh, Kind of that uh, Gamma questioning the hierarchy kind of thing. Except he was potentially strong enough to take on the king. And so it was just something that is like, well, this is how things are. And so he started questioning things, and ultimately he's like, no, I should be the king. And he fought and for the kingship and won, but everybody died. Everyone but him died. And so it was like he was the king of ruins. And it was kind of this idea of like, um, it's like, well, I should be king kind of thing. And it's like, well, you don't know what kind of destruction that um, mentality will bring forth when you try and go and subvert or take over an entire hierarchy. and even though you might win, you might be the ruler of ruins. Um, so it's just kind of an interesting story that I just happened to read when I was a little kid. Uh, I don't know what it would be under, but maybe like King and Tiger. I don't know where to find that story again, but um, it was a good story. Maybe I should do something with that someday. Anyway, um, so back to Feels Good Inc. So you got all these people there and how they're living their life, and you got Feels Good Inc. and he's up here, and he's living the dream life, surrounded by women and stuff like that, and basically surrounded by like the sin and debauchery and everything you could possibly want or have, and it's really well highlighted by the fact that it's all red, right? Because we have this depiction of hell being a burning inferno kind of thing. So using that black and red really kind of accents like the uh, you're in this world of sin kind of thing. And then he starts singing, and he's like, you can kind of see his eyes are all blown out, and he's like sad and stuff. We're not gonna get into that. Do do do. Um, Here we go. Yeah, he's like eyes are completely red circles around him. Now that could just be like sleep deprived, but it's probably more like he's on drugs and stuff like that. And you can kind of he's like it's the whole thing is supposed to be like do whatever you want, whatever, and just like make sure that you feel good kind of thing. But like through the whole song, you have this juxtaposition where it's like do what you want, make sure that you feel good. You want to just feel good. But it's juxtaposed by the fact that it's hollow, and he knows it's hollow, and you can tell that by when it comes to the windmill part. So he looks out the window, and he's dreaming of not being in this like world of sin that he's in, and he's thinking about this windmill, and it's like okay, it's a windmill or whatever, but it's really important later down the line when you see it again, right here. So here we go. So, okay, he's a windmill, but like, here you have the juxtaposition where it's bright, it's sunny, it's the opposite of everything that's been before, where he's like in a city, it's dark, it's dirty, it's even in the ivory tower, he's living in darkness. The big bright part of his life is from this past memory when he was a little kid, playing the guitar and learning how to play the guitar, and it's that that feeling of like when you've been up against it and kind of thing, and like this is him trying to get to the position he's currently in, and him missing like the fight and stuff like that. And also part of it is like missing the innocence, right? He got everything that he wanted, but like it didn't turn out how he wanted it to. He misses those days of like not being in the wages of sin and being consumed by it and stuff like that, and just loving the craft and going after the craft for what it is, and not all the like to not as a means to an end, but a means in of or an end in of itself, right? Uh, uh, you do. I guess I do this podcast because I want to do it, not because like any other reason, right? Because if you have that other reason, then you can end up in this position that he's kind of in, where it becomes hollow, it becomes something forced, something you have to do. And I might not be a good example in that, but like there's people know what I'm talking about there. And so yeah, he's basically talking about that and kind of missing that, and then he kind of sinks back into this debaucherous life, and he doesn't actually escape. He just like remembers the good time, remembers when things could have been better, but he kind of accepts that he's like in this hell now, and then lets that memory like fly off and get consumed. And as you can see with the dark clouds coming in, where it's gonna like fade from memory, it's gonna be consumed by darkness again, and he's gonna be left in his pit of hell instead of escaping it, which obviously isn't a good message by any means. You can always escape these kind of things, but it was just kind of interesting, some of the symbolism and stuff there. Maybe you guys think I'm off base on that, but it was something I observed and thought was kind of interesting. Okay, bouncing to the next thing. So we will kill that and bring back our picture. Um, as a side note, the picture is something fireworks. Hold up. It is called. If this wants to load. It is by Petrus van Schendel, Elegant Company Watching Fireworks in a Park, the 19th century. Thought it was very, very beautiful, and that was posted by Uncle John's Band over in Social Galactic. So go give him a follow on Social Galactic. So the other thing I want to talk about is Snape, and how he is kind of he's one of the redemption stories of a Gamma becoming Delta. So that's one of the things that Fox and Owen touch on a bunch is Gammas don't need to worry about becoming like Gammas will ask the question, well, how do I become an alpha, instead of asking the question of like how do I become a delta, right? Because that's actually your lot in life. And there isn't that's kind of like what they tell you, but there isn't exactly a model that they will necessarily give. And this isn't necessarily the best model, but it's interesting that you do see this arc in the Harry Potter series. So you have Snape, and the interesting part of Snape's thing is he's a Delta, but you don't actually know he's a Delta from the perspective of most of the people. So that's probably one of the reasons it works, is he kind of acts like a Gamma anyway. And maybe that's a good thing, right? Like a good example is if you want to quit doing something, right? Like let's say you want to quit doing some habit or something like that. You don't try to stop doing it. You replace it with something else, right? And so this is in the same kind of manner, is taking his negative character and behavior and channeling it towards something productive. So how do they do that? So basically, he's going through school. He's kind of picked on. He's bullied and stuff like that. Kind of seen it as outcast, and he's like resentful for that. But and he joins the Gamma Hive, which is Voldemort's crew. This is kind of how it's played out in the books, whether or not you agree with it, whatever. Which is Voldemort's crew. They're kind of like the rejects, or at least the people that are on the outside. And that leads to the death of someone that he loved a lot, which is Lily Potter. So that makes him turn his entire life around and work with Dumbledore, who is also a Secret King kind of thing. But, sorry, there's just a ton of Secret Kings in Harry Potter. This is just how it is. I can't do anything about that. But he does serve Dumbledore as a secret double agent like the whole time. And part of the way he's able to do that so well is because he acts like a Gamma and is just kind of like this spiteful, like he's really spiteful towards Harry for like no reason. And you know that the way that manifests and makes sense where he's a Gamma is because he's taking it out on Harry what he wasn't able to do on his dad when he was in school, because his dad was the one that picked on him. But that makes him really does a good job of covering the fact that he is actually working for Dumbledore as like a secret agent kind of person, and keeps people off his tail so that Voldemort trusts him, so he can actually serve the real goal kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's a Gamma Hive, but I thought it was interesting. And so he's kind of he almost works out to be a Bravo because of how how important and how much of a linchpin he is to Dumbledore, where he is entrusted to take over, like once Dumbledore dies, he's entrusted to like kind of guide Harry and Ron and Hermione on finding the last couple of things and getting them a couple key things, and like sacrificing himself to make sure that Harry can get the information he needs. He does like a lot of like Bravo type stuff at the end of the story. But maybe that's a good setup because he had what, like 11. He wasn't given that. He wasn't even given the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher position till he had faithfully served Dumbledore for what, 17 years, 16 years, something like that. So like that's kind of for people who are like maybe in the Gamma mindset. Like I fall into it every once in a while, where they want to be like a Bravo kind of, like they want to jump up the hierarchy quicker. Like think about how long it took for Snape to just fall, like how much of a Delta and how long he had to serve as a Delta before being entrusted to a Bravo level position. It was 17 years, and so like in a sense you can see like, okay, you can make it, you can move up that thing if you prove yourself to be as reliable of a Delta as you need to be, but like it takes a long time. And that was like 17 years of semi-mundane stuff because Voldemort was dead and gone. But then like a couple of years of like really well done, like double, triple agent kind of stuff that he was doing a good job of keeping everyone confused and backstabbing and stuff like that. And and the fact that he did, yeah, I don't know. Like the fact that he's a double agent inherently has some kind of gamma-y tendencies, but he did choose there was no point where he flip-flopped sides because it was convenient or because he felt spited or something like that. Like there wasn't, like something happened, he chose a side, he stuck to that side for the whole time and did that thing. So like I in my opinion, he's moved past the Delta thing or Gamma thing, even though he he acts like a Gamma at certain times, mainly because it's not convenient, but it helps solidify his actual role. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's interesting at the very least. So yeah, those are kind of my random thoughts on this. Not a long video today, but you know, not all of them need to be. So let me just double check, make sure you guys are in the chat with questions. Nope, we are good. So thank you everybody for listening. If there are anyone live right now, and thanks everybody for following. But anyway, hope you guys all have a good evening. And if you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd especially like to hear any counter theories to anything that I've presented tonight. Always gives me, makes me better kind of thing. So, but anyway, hope you guys all have a good day, and I will see you guys next time.